Welcome to Upgrade. I'm your host, Frank the Tank, and today we got a monstrosity of a box. We're going to open it up here. It's a Synology. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to go into little details of what's included when you buy this. So let's go ahead and open it up first. Get our trusty tool. We're going to open it. Be careful not to scratch it, maybe just the surface. This is the most exciting thing I have gotten for a while, man. I mean, talking about, if you guys are familiar with Synology, one of the best hardwares out there, personally I like and I use a lot. I use it for personal, business, for pretty much a lot of things. This is a replacement, a killer replacement for a server. Really good. I mean, if you guys are not familiar with it, I recommend you guys get something just like this. Not this one itself, but this is an overkill. This is actually to replace 3 or 4 Synologies that have run out of space. And this is pretty much the papa of all of them right now. We're going to talk a little bit in depth of what I think about this and why I decided to get something like this, alright? So, let's open it up. Big bad boy. It's right here. We'll move the cable just a little bit. And we might shake the cameras here and there, but you know what? I could care less about that as long as you guys get to see the unopening. So, I'll talk about it's the model, right? The Synology RX3618xs. It's an ultra high performance, large scale business. That's what it pretty much means, all right? It is a phenomenal machine. Like, you know, I can't talk about anything about Synology bad about it because everything that Synology makes is gold. I like it. I like it. So let's go ahead and take this bad boy off this box too. This is a huge box right here that you get. In fact, let me get a measuring tape so you guys can see. This model of the Synology is pretty large, pretty long. To be honest with you, it's made for rack space, you know. So we're talking about in front, it's going to be 26 inches, almost 26. I would say give it 26 and a half just to make sure, you know. Width, let's go ahead and see the width. Width-wise, we're looking at 17. So give it a couple of centimeters off just to make sure to be off, because you need a little bit more space, especially if you're going to tuck it in one of your racks. In front of it, let's pick it up a little bit if we can. In front of it here, there's quite a few cartridge slots right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 slots for every single hard drive you're going to need. So on top of this, it's made easy to upgrade. I mean, right now currently I have one that has 6 slots that are completely full. I have another one that's another 4. I have multiple ones that I want to replace them all and have them. It's pretty much one ring to rule them all, kind of the same scenario. In this case, I'm going to replace every single hard drive Synology that I have and just have it all on one rack of space in the server. So I'm running out of space in the server room. I have all these Synologies running everywhere. So I'm going to eliminate every single one and consolidate everything, all my data into one solid drive. And hopefully this will help me out for the next 2 years until we run out of space again. Right now, currently, I want to have over 100 terabytes in here of housing, over 100 terabytes, maybe 100 terabytes of housing, because right now the largest one I have is 30 terabytes. So it's full already, so I am hungry for more terabytes. And the thing is, we have to retain a lot of data for maybe 10 to 12 years. You know, depends on the cases that you're going to go on. It depends on the business you're working on too. So it's good to retain some stuff. Regarding software, if you guys are not familiar with Synology setups, it's one of the easiest ones to use. I mean, level 1, level 2 entries could be entering to this system and they'll understand it. You don't need any Cisco or any kind of programming. It's all it's web interface. It's really good, really simple to use. Their whole system enterprise changed a couple years ago in 2003 when they dropped the licensing for Microsoft and they created their own OS, of course. Now the OS, they do have a market that they do sell applications for, and they have free applications. Mostly all the applications that you're going to need are free. Other than the additional applications for like security cameras and stuff like that, you know, that's additional costs. They do have a free version of it, but there's a little bit better ones out there. The market for the App Store is not the greatest in here, but it's enough for you to get your job done. Now, replication of files, it's up to you, because this has a great snapshot of all your data, so you can back up the stuff. Replacing hard drives is one of the easiest ones I ever used in my life. It kind of depends on the RAID that you want to set it up to. You know, there's different multiple options on the RAID, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about in depth in here. So hopefully you guys get to see. So let me bring the camera lower. So we're going to talk a little bit about the hard drives. All right, it's made for two different types. All right, you have two of them, the 3.3, like I said, 3.2 and 2.3. So they both fit in here. Depends on what kind of hard drives you want to put in there, and it's made solid, ready for solid state, ready for any kind of hard drive, mechanical. M.2, you're gonna need extension plugs for that. You're gonna need the little extensions for it, just to make sure they work in here, because it's not made for M.2 yet. But the future is that they're gonna change all that. All right, so keep an eye that. So it's basically simple to remove and replace. So they give you the screws, of course, and you screw them on. And to put it in, it's very simple. You just pretty much put the hard drive in there, lock it in, and you lock it here. This is pretty much a lock. So right now they're all unlocked. And to push them up, you just take out to push the button. So you just push the button here, and it comes off, slides out. And you're gonna have to repeat this for every single process. So you're gonna have to replace every drive. So if you don't have the space, and you want to acquire space and you want to buy maybe minimum hard drives, you could buy minimum. You could buy 3 of them if you want, 4 of them, 5, depends, and you could keep adding to your whole system itself. So throughout the whole years, you don't have to start with all 12 hard drives at once. You could start with 1 if you want, or 2, at least 2 for RAID controls. You know, very very simple. 2 or 3. Now, the system itself in the front. If you guys, let me see if I could bring the front. Yeah, in the front here. Very simple in the front right here. Let me see if I could do that. Very simple in the front. So there's a power button here and a speaker. Now the speaker's for alarms and other systems that are coming on, you know, because it does beep a lot where you want it to sync up some certain things or clicking. It just pretty much is an alarm system for it, and also a speaker audio off and on, alerts for the alerts, and then the start button. The start is actually the power, and the model number is right in the front. Now let's go ahead and take this sucker to the front. Let me see if I can open the front first. I'm gonna open this bad boy up here. We're gonna take you a little bit in depth in here and see what you get. So there is a panel on this. System that is pretty much, there's these 2 buttons. You push them out, and this is where the actual air flows in here. And let me see if I could open some more. So one simple screw, you're able to take it off. And we're going to open it up a little bit more, what's in here. All right, so I like to open things up. I'm not going to present how to use this. If you don't know how to use this, you shouldn't buy this. It's as simple as that, you know. So we're going to go a little bit in depth of what you get when you buy this. Very simple concept. So the airflow flows through here. It picks up all the it's sucking all this to the CPU, which is located in the back. Let me bring that a little bit more closer to. So this is a very simple setup in here. CPU in here. It's pretty much like a motherboard. Extra memory. You could add extra memories on this slot right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You go up to add. If it's too slow for you, then you could add as much as you want of memory. If it's too slow, you can always add memory. Now on this one, there is a power supply for the motherboard itself. It's just like a regular computer, pretty much, to stabilize the whole thing. Now here in particular, these are all the drives that are going to be connected, all the to the circuit in here. They're all 1, 2, and 3 are connected, and it pretty much connects on the back of it. Now on this part, in this particular part, that you guys can see all these fans in here. I'm not quite sure if you guys can see the fans, but let me see if I can bring it a little bit more in here. Yeah. So all these fans in here are blowing the air into this system. It kind of cycles with this funnels, this whole thing with this plastic covering this whole thing in here. Now, if you're ready for the next type of Ethernet connection that you're going to have acquired, It's ready for it. It's ready for the gigabyte connections in here. You set up the slot cards in here. Your NIC cards goes in here. Because right now it's pretty much set up with USBs and a couple of landlines in here. In fact, let me take it to the back. Now, on this Synology itself, it's quad-core 2.7 megahertz. All right, it comes with 8 gigs of RAM, DDR4 ECC UDIMM, up to 64 gigs of RAM you can install on this one. Now, the network itself, it's 4 by 1 gigabyte port. So it has 4 of them in the back that I'll set up, and I'll put a picture on it in the back of it. Now, if you want to get ready for the 10 gigabyte NIC card, there's 2 slots in here in the back. Let me see if I can put them out. There, it's ready, set up to go. It's pretty much, you got to take these two screws, bring your next 10 gigabyte ports in here, and you're ready for the next type of connection you're gonna have. Now, the system is ready, like I was talking about. It's ready for the 10 gigabytes beyond. You know, it's pretty much just going to the next version of gigabyte, and you can set up the 2 cards in here. My network's not ready for that yet, but we will be in a couple of years. You know, right now it's pretty much it's a PCL E 3.0 slots, 2 of them. It gave you 2 of them in here, so you can set up your network on there, and it's built in, ready to go. I mean, they're pretty much heading for the future. They're looking at ahead where people are getting prepared for the next type of networks that can set up. Now, on top of it, their support is one of the best ones I've had. I have no issues whatsoever. They respond quick. This one is 5 years limited warranty on it, you know, so be careful what you do on your network with it. I mean, it's never had fail. I haven't had any fails on these systems. Their backup solutions are really awesome. It has hyper backup. It has an active backup for businesses. You know, it's just desktop support, desktop backup, active backup for Office 365 and G Suite, which the next version of it. Now, on top of it, it's fully certified to storage virtualization solutions. All right, so all your virtual systems, your virtual applications, your servers, your printers, and all that stuff could be hosted by this system. Now itself, it is a foolproof system to have. Now, the reason I got this monstrosity of a system, like I said, I want to discontinue the old ones and get rid of them and isolate all my problems I had before, and make sure that I put them all in here. I wanted to have them in one area, all my data, and pretty much one solution, you know. And if I wanted to upgrade later down the line, I can do that. This thing's probably going to be able to run for another 6-7 years without any upgrades. And I am going to add the extra memory, so when you're running the applications themselves, you can see a big difference on it. Now, itself in the back, you know, I'm going to take your little camera in depth so you guys can check it out, right? Here we go. Now, you can see? Yeah, you can see. Bring that camera here. All right, so here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we have. We have these 4 ports, all right, ready to go, and 3.1 actually USBs, and also expansions. You could expand this and set it up to another system. There's a reset area here. There's 2 of them for the PCIe ready to go. The 2 slots we talked about, a console port in here, power, and the main power supply, of course, in here. All right, so let's talk a little bit more in depth on the hardware type. So the hardware itself, it's an Intel chip. It's a Xeon D1521. All right, so it's a pretty hefty duty system. It's, you know, anything Xeon is capable of handling more stress on the heat. It's made for servers and other systems that run constantly and don't have to turn off. This is it right here. So it's covered and supported, and it's all based on the Intel chip. It's 64-bit base. It comes with the quad core 2.4 base, all right, and it could go up to 2.7 if it's turbo megahertz. So it's not that bad. Now, on top of it, like I said, it comes with 8 gigs a hard drive, 8 gigs memory. All right, you could install up to 64. Maximum is DDR4, like I said. total of 4 slots. Other than that, I don't think I could add anything else. Only the type of hard drives that this could take. So the type of hard drive, it could take the 3.5 SATA drive, it could take the 2.5 SATA drive, and it could also take the 2.5 SSD drive. So you could add all these into the same system. Maximum internal raw, it has 168 terabytes, so that's the maximum you could go, 168 terabytes with all hard drives running, all 12 capacity, right? So maximum, like I said, 64 terabytes. It's not bad. It's not bad. Now maximum raw capacity is 504 terabytes. Maximum single volume could go up to 200 terabytes with a 32 RAM. Now, other than that, everything seems like it's one of those things that it comes all set up. I mean, you could do this at home, but with this type of support and this type of RAID that Synology has, you can't go wrong. Now, the price is a little steep on these, but it depends on you of what kind of hard drives you're going to add to the system. If you add all 12 of them, like I said, it's going to cost you a little bit more money. If you add maybe just 3 to begin with, and then just keep adding through the years or through your end of life of your how much data you have on your existing space, then you could continue that. You don't have to start with all 12 drives all at once. So like I said, it has 2 3.0 ports, and it has 2 expansion ports for PCIe cards. Now, on the cards itself, look at the manual, and depends on what type of cards you're going to buy. Please consult the manual or go to the website, to the Synology website, and find out more about it. Now, appearance is pretty big. Like I said, it has 88 millimeters by 482 millimeters. So weight, it's about 14.5 kilograms. So it's a little heavy, you know. But like I said, it's a little heavy as heavy as a UPS. But rack space is going to be for a 4-port racks, 19-inch rack space, Synology. So now on top of that, if you guys don't have a 4-port rack space, you can also buy maybe a flat end of it. You know how they have those mounts for just computers and stuff like that? You could just rack it in there too. It doesn't have to be completely 4-port racks like normally people do. But there's shortcuts for this. If you're familiar with it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, other than that, the system power supply, it's 500 watts on here, right? We have 500 watts of power supply, raw power supply. Now, one thing I like about this, that once in a while, these things get dirty and they collect a lot of dust, and you got to go in there and take them off. The system Synology made is really handy. So they have these slots in here that you just pick them up, and everything's connected in here. Power supply, the actual fan, the fans could be replaced, blow out a couple of dust bunnies, clean them out, at least maintenance once a year or something, every 3 years. It depends on the situation where you're at. If you have a dusty project or a dusty area, yeah, you're going to accumulate dust, of course. And once in a while, get that spray can, run it in there, and make sure clean it out, you know. And it's simple, very easy to take out, very easy to slot back in. They have arrows pointing 1, 2, and 3. They're all number 4. They're all number, and they're all ready to go and pull out. Love this thing. This is one thing I love about this whole thing. It's simplicity of it. So let's go ahead and close it up, and let's talk a little bit more. Well, now that we got a little bit more in depth about this system, what it does, the model itself, it's a unique model that I have not purchased in my company yet. This is the first model I purchased it. Like I said, I accumulated so many Synology systems, different sizes, and now I need to consolidate all of them into one drive, and this is perfect for me. Now, like I said in the beginning, you don't have to start with one drive or 2 or 3. You can start with 4 or 5, 2 or 3 drives, whatever you want. You don't have to fill them all in. It could be different types of drives, like I said, I mentioned them, and then you can start replacing those later down the line. It balances itself very good, very simple. Now, another unique thing about it is, yeah, you could actually get access to the system from the external drives. You could replicate drives too. You could do all sorts of ways of balancing yourself out with data throughout your Synology network if you have multiple of these systems. Now, another thing is that I like that you could tie these up to different multiple Synology hardware this type itself has the chain. You can actually chain them up and have different drives itself. But this one, 168 terabytes, I think it's going to be more than enough for a couple of years, and then maybe done by then. Synology might even downsize this thing, make it faster and better. And of course, as the hard drives market starts getting cheaper and better, I think I'm gonna wait for the next version of it. But this will be probably for a couple of years. Now the price is a little high, but the volume and the value that you get throughout the years is worth it. It pays off itself the first year. Now it does back itself up, and now one thing I ran into an issue was where if you don't monitor that stuff, you might run out of space. So if you ask the system to back up the data on a daily basis or on an hourly basis, you're gonna run out of space sometime in the future. You're gonna get an alarm, you're gonna get an email, you're gonna get all sorts of information telling you, hey, you got to start this. So it's up to you what you want to do with your data. Either you could stop it, you could continue, and it's a great base to start with. And if you're a huge company that is saving files, especially in the BIM department, three-dimensional department, architectural and engineering, this is a perfect way to start. Like I said, you don't have to start with 3 drives, 4 drives, 5 drives. It's up to you, and you can just keep adding throughout your business as your business grows. These are pretty heavy, and you need the infrastructure for this. Now, if you're going to access these things external, you got to make sure you have your network set up first, your firewalls and other stuff set up before you prior to that. If you have any more questions, please comment, let me know, hit me up below. And I'm your host, Frank the Tank, and you've been watching Upgrade, and we are out.